please be careful with whom you quote unquote invest your money. How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and today we got to talk about the real estate scam that DJ Envy and his business associate Cesar Pena are allegedly involved with. Now, Cesar got arrested and was released on a $1 million bond. Where to get that money? We'll talk about that in a minute. Now, as of right now, DJ Envy has not been arrested, but he is, in my humble opinion, and according to paperwork, involved with the case. Now, there's a lot we got to get into. We have video, we got testimony, we got news reports, articles, all of that. But first things first, let me give you a visual. On the left, you have DJ Envy of the very, 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 very popular radio show, The Breakfast Club, on New York City's Power 105.1. On the right, you have Cesar Pena, who is a real estate investor. Now, DJ Envy would often promote Cesar Pena on the radio show, and they would do other events together. This right here could be a podcast. It could be one of these seminars they would do in certain parts of the country to teach people how to invest into real estate and make money. Okay, so DJ Envy's involvement is not as simple as reading an ad on the radio. No. He was actually going and traveling with Cesar, doing things. And as a matter of fact, the rapper Joe Budden, who is now a very, very popular podcast host, said that Envy called him one day out of the blue. Years ago, probably right when he first started getting into real estate, cold calling him, like he hadn't talked to him in a long time. They don't speak at all. He cold called him and say, hey, I got something going on with real estate. I want you to invest. So DJ Envy was very much involved with the business. But now that there's an allegation or several allegations against Cesar Pena that he took people's money and did not provide returns, Envy's like, well, hey, that's on him. You didn't give me any money. You got to talk to Cesar. But wait a minute, DJ Envy, also known as Rashawn Casey, I invested into Cesar because of you. You were promoting him. You were going across the country. You were telling me he'd be a good pick. It's not just like what they may have done with FTX, with some of the celebrities investing in the FTX and giving a commercial. You were basically saying you guys are in business together and invest with us, and we're going to make a bunch of money. We. You're speaking French when things are going good, but when things are going bad, no hablo español, no hablo francais. No parlez-vous français. What's going on with that? Now, before we go any further, we have much more to get into. But one thing to mention, you see DJ Envy right there on the screen on the Breakfast Club radio show. He's calling in through Zoom. He's not even in the actual studio. He's normally right there on the microphone, right next to Charlamagne the Guide, right? He's normally right there, but he was not right there. He was at home. This is right when the whole thing happened. Now, some say that the federales raided iHeartRadio, where the Breakfast Club is, and some say they didn't. But here's an article from TMZ. The feds say no raid took place at iHeart Studio. So there was a news report that came out on local New York City news that said the federales went to iHeart and they took laptops and other electronic devices. Well, the Fed said that's not true. The Fed said all they did was show up at Power 105 to alert DJ Envy that Cesar had been arrested. I mean, why do they need to do that? He can't watch the news like everybody else and see that he had been arrested. They were probably there to question him, to get more information about what's going on. Now, let's get into a news report. If you want to see this report and anything from the articles, link will always be in the description. If you're on IG, visit the link in the bio, go to the corresponding article on the website. But without further ado, let's go ahead and roll it.
Exclusive. Less than a week after we broke the story of investors who say they were scammed in a real estate venture promoted by radio host DJ Envy, there is a major development.
DJ Envy's longtime business partner has been arrested by federal agents in New Jersey. Cesar Pena has been charged with fraud. Investigative reporter Sarah Wallace has been all over the story. She has the latest from federal court in Newark.
Pena arrested by the feds this morning on a charge of wire fraud and brought here to the federal courthouse in Newark. They say this may be just the beginning. He could face additional charges of money laundering.
You might know him on Instagram as Flippin' NJ, my friend Cesar Pena.
So you see DJ Envy right there on the radio promoting them, and you saw him a little bit earlier in a separate video. So they would do all these commercials on the radio, off the radio, doing real estate seminars. They would do all types of stuff.
DJ Envy often had his pal, Cesar Pena, on the radio hosts The Breakfast Club show.
Started with no money, and here I am, $50 million later in real estate.
Promoting their real estate part.
Can I be a little bit shallow? And y'all, please forgive me. Let me see if I can. Okay, now, if a guy is built like this, I'm not giving you $1. I'm sorry, because if you can't take care of your own health, how you going to take care of my money? Now, you call me whatever you want to call me. You call me fat phobic or whatever, fat shaming. I'm just saying, if you can't take care of your health, how you going to take care of my money? I'm not giving you $1, sir.
$50 million later in real estate.
Promoting their real estate partnership. Now, in this federal complaint, the government says Pena engaged in a Ponzi-like scheme involving investors, adding Pena defrauded dozens of victims of millions of dollars. We interviewed many of them.
I lost $200,000.
$835,000 in total.
I lost a total of $64,000.
I lost $1 million.
Envy, whose real name is Rashawn Casey, was not charged, but many of the alleged victims say they were influenced by his celebrity.
He's advertising this all over the radio and on television.
Investors say Pena promised he would rehab and flip distressed properties, many in Patterson, giving a 30% profit within months. Dozens have now filed lawsuits saying they never got any of their investment back.
Now, let's pause right here. Some are going to say, well, look, ABL, it's an investment. You can lose money on an investment. Well, they signed contracts, paperwork, where a specific amount for an investment was promised in a certain time frame. So let's say, for example, somebody was able to contribute $300,000. The contract would state within 4 months, you would get a 20% return, or the return would be a certain dollar amount. So if you gave $300,000, you would get $360 in return in 4 months. But then 4 months comes, nothing. 5 months, 6 months, 7 months, nothing. He's not even answering the phone calls. And sometimes what he would do is give you something else other than the money. One guy, he gave some jewelry. I lie to you not. He gave him some like rapper jewelry. He was like, hey, man, hold that until I get the money. So what are we doing? Are you just trying to find new investors to pay the old investors? It's a classic Ponzi scheme. And again, some say that this guy was at one point successful, but obviously at a certain point he was not successful, and he was just trying to strap things together to make this whole flipping thing a reality, which it was never going to be. Anything like that where they say you can just invest X and get Y back and it's a guarantee, don't believe in it. And I really wouldn't give my money to someone else to invest in real estate for me. We're going to get into some more details in a moment.
Pena is accused of pocketing $17 million from just 4 properties. As news broke of his arrest, we were interviewing Jeff Robinson, who owns a food truck and car wash in Patterson.
My son was my world, and these people took advantage.
His son, Jeff Jr., tragically died in a car accident 6 months ago, leaving 2 children behind. Jeff Jr. had invested $325,000 with Pena in this Passaic property. The dad says Pena then went dark.
A month after I buried my son, I called Caesar. Oh, bro, I'm going to meet you. I have text correspondence with Caesar, text messages. Oh, I'm running a little behind. He never met me here. But my main concern is getting what's due to those children. It's not fair. The comfort would be when my grandkids are in position when they have trust accounts with that money that he owes those children.
Pena pleaded not guilty. He has to post a $1 million bond and is being released on electronic monitoring. He cannot leave the state of New Jersey. No comment from DJ Envy. An inside source tells us that the iHeartRadio offices were visited by the feds, who took out electronic equipment as part of this investigation.
See, that's what I was talking about with the news. This is local New York City news. They said that the feds went and took stuff out, but the feds said we went, but we didn't take anything out. So like I said, the truth is probably somewhere in between. They probably went there and questioned DJ Envy about the whole situation. So that is the extent of what's going on. There's more details and whatnot about the specific victims and what happened and everything, and I will link to that in the box. But ultimately, what was going on is that Cesar was getting money from people, and often the money would go toward the same property. Like, he had like 4 or 5 people. Well, the rapper Rick Ross said 15 lanes on one piece of land. He would have people invest into the same property, and sometimes he didn't even own the property. And the reason for this is because he had no real intention on actually doing real estate investing at a certain point. The intention was just to get the money and then get it back into some of the earlier investors. And if you came on the back end, oh well, tough on you. So yeah, if a guy looks like that, in my humble opinion, but especially a guy who had already been in jail, by the way, I think DJ Envy even said in the interview that Cesar learned how to do this real estate investing in prison. That's probably not the best place to go. If somebody comes to you and says, hey, you know what, I learned how to do real estate investing in prison, can you give me $500,000? You're probably going to say no, and you'd be correct to do so. But when DJ Envy comes along and he's this rich and famous person, and you go to his wife's Instagram and she's posting all of her gifts that she gets throughout the year and the 12 days of Christmas, always some kind of elaborate thing. He's got all kind of cars. He's doing car shows, showing his wealth off. You're going to think that he knows what he's doing. And if he is promoting the thing, you'd be happy to invest in it. Why not? I'll give you $1 million, $500,000, $200,000, no big deal. Now, as I close, I want to say this. As I said from the beginning, please be careful with who you invest money with. And these guys are always the same. They'll get you in with something kind of small, relatively small amount of money. I know it's a big amount of money, but still small. You might give Cesar $20,000. He'll return your money. He'll give you $25,000 back. So you become confident. You start upping it. You give him $40,000. You get $48,000 back. Nice little return. You go all the way up. You say, okay, now I'm gonna put all my chips in the table. I'm gonna give you $200,000. All of a sudden, he's not answering the phone. All of a sudden, you can't get a hold of him. That's the whole scam. This is a classic street flip type of thing. And I advise you guys to please, please, please don't get caught up in it. If you want to do investing, do it the right way with reputable companies, or just invest directly into real estate yourself rather than using any kind of middleman. But I think I'll leave that right there for now. And what say you? What's your take on what's happening here? Do you think that DJ Envy is to blame at all, or is it only Caesar? Whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments below. You guys know where I'm at. If I was to see this scam, I would know what it was from the very beginning. But not everyone is as, I guess, privileged as I am to understand certain things. I'm able to understand some street stuff, some non-street stuff, and I'm able just to see what's going on. To me, it's pretty clear, but not everyone's in that same boat. So I hope anyone watching this learns from it. Learn from this, and if there's another scammer in your area talking about invest into this, invest into that, you might think twice. But whatever your thoughts are, please let me know in the comments below. And that's all I got to say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.